Will Buddhism become the religion of the universe? Welcome back, everyone, to Mind Podcast. Quantum physics theory, developed by Noob and M. Blank, describes the extremely small world, while general relativity theory, presented by Albert Einstein, describes the vastly large world. These two major theories overturned classical physics and were introduced almost simultaneously in the early 20th century. They have completely transformed our understanding of the world. The surprising development of quantum physics has allowed us to increasingly verify the teachings of Buddhism. Many leading physicists in the 1970s, such as D. Harrison and F. Cra W.P., observed these subtle connections and surprising coincidences between quantum physics and the fundamental ideas of Eastern spirituality. This may be a sign that we are very possibly approaching something extremely universal and fundamental. The origin and meaning of the universe are becoming clearer. Everything around us is not as fixed as we might think. This could be one of the most significant and groundbreaking discoveries of quantum physics. For instance, the computer screen in front of us, the keyboard we type on, the glass of water, and the books on the table, even our own bodies, may seem solid, but they are actually made up of molecules, atoms, and subatomic particles. These particles never stay still, but are in constant motion. Notably, at the quantum level, scientists have discovered that the trajectories of these particles are almost impossible to precisely capture or predict. In classical physics, this notion would seem illogical and hard to accept. To illustrate, imagine you're playing billiards with former President Obama, for instance. After using force to push it according to conventional physical principles, the ball will undoubtedly move in the direction and trajectory you desire, depending on how you applied force to it. Now, suppose this ball is reduced to subatomic size. This time, after applying force to push it, you cannot be certain which direction or path this quantum ball will take. It could roll to the right or left, bounce up into the air, or even move in all directions simultaneously, despite no change in how you applied force to it. Thus, the entire material world, including the human body, may appear solid and stable from the outside, but at its most fundamental level, it is composed of atoms and subatomic particles moving in a chaotic, indeterminate way. In particular, each of these particles seems capable of existing in multiple states and traveling along different paths simultaneously. To further clarify this, let's explore the concept of quantum entanglement. This concept, though initially difficult to understand, simply refers to the existence of a link, relationship, or entanglement between particles at the quantum level that scientists have yet to explain. According to this theory, two electrons, even when separated by vast distances, one at the North Pole and the other at the South Pole, for instance, will immediately affect one another when we act upon any electron in the pair, even though there is no apparent connection between them. It is as if these electrons have the ability to interact and exchange information from afar. A romantic, everyday example that may help you grasp this concept is telepathy between couples. Let's name this couple Sun and Tao. Although Sun lives in Saigon and Tao in Hanoi, they are not emotionally distant. Due to their supposed telepathic bond, whenever Sun feels sad, Tao immediately senses it, despite not knowing what he is going through, and vice versa. Their friends even believe that if they want to change Sun's opinion about something, they only need to influence Tao, and the connection between the two will complete the rest of the task. Could Sun and Tao be experiencing a relationship said to be a karmic bond? At the quantum level, particles seem to always be connected. However, at a larger than quantum scale, this effect appears to dissipate. The material world is extraordinarily variable and transformative at the quantum level, yet when we observe it at the everyday human level, these characteristics nearly disappear. Scientists call this phenomenon quantum decoherence. In this, any quantum system, such as electrons, when exposed to environmental influences or external agents like observers or measuring instruments, which are also quantum systems, will have its quantum characteristics disrupted and eventually fade away, forcing the system to follow conventional physical principles. This decoherence phenomenon remains a controversial topic in science, but at least it allows us to conclude that the larger the scale, the more the indeterminate, chaotic nature of any system diminishes. This conclusion holds even when comparing large systems. For example, consider the difference between the chaotic traffic system on Saigon's streets and the orbital paths of planets in the solar system. It's easy to see that vehicle trajectories on city streets exhibit far more randomness than the planet's orderly orbits. On a larger scale, the Sun itself also moves around the center of the galaxy, albeit at a slower pace. While Earth takes 1 year to orbit the Sun, our Sun takes around 200 to 250 million years to complete one orbit around the galactic core. Similarly, if you observe a section of the city from a tall building, you'll witness a chaotic scene filled with people, cars, dogs, and cats moving in various directions. However, imagine standing on the moon and looking down. You'd see only a serene blue planet, gently rotating on its axis. This interconnectedness of phenomena aligns with Buddhist philosophy, which teaches that every object and phenomenon arises from various causes and conditions. All things and events are interdependent. This view implies the interdependence of all dharmas, where nothing serves as its sole cause. Another implication is the holistic, indivisible nature of reality in the universe. Modern physics is advancing toward a similar perspective, showing us that we are all stardust, sharing the same history in the cosmos with flowers, animals, and all other life forms across time and space, all interdependent. The core message of science, particularly quantum mechanics, is that there is a deeper reality beyond what our senses perceive, a hidden reality. Science and Buddhism converge in this view, albeit through different approaches. Science uses the language of mathematics and experimental verification, while Buddhism relies on intuition and spiritual experience. Buddhism would still exist without science, and science would continue to develop without Buddhism. There is no need to force the two together. Rather, the goal is to recognize the consistent parallels between them. Both address the same subject, reality, and each is consistent within its own scope. There is room to explore the points of convergence between science and Buddhism. Modern physics also shares Buddhism's view of the emptiness of all things, often referred to as emptiness. Matter is composed of atoms, which can essentially be described as empty, with particles in constant motion. Quantum mechanics states that the fundamental particles of all matter have dual properties. They can be both particles and waves. Before observing these particles, each can only be described by a probability. The only thing we can know about a particle is the probability that it will appear in one place or another. When we use instruments to measure, each particle has a position and velocity, but these are constrained by Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, making it impossible to know both properties precisely at the same time. In the small world within atoms, the observer's actions immediately affect the observed object. Modern science still doesn't fully understand what matter in the universe truly is. We only know about 4% of the universe, while the remaining 96% remains unknown. The visible galaxies and celestial formations we see in the sky represent only about 0.5% of the universe. The rest is an enigmatic melody. Physicists have proposed the existence of dark energy, which contributes to the formation of the universe, and dark matter, which has a strong gravitational pull but emits no visible light. We know nothing definitive about dark matter or dark energy, only that without them, it would be difficult to explain the universe's creation and existence. Scientists have yet to find the boundary where the macrocosmic universe meets the microcosmic world of quantum particles, governed by the uncertainty principle. But at the vast scale of the universe, this principle no longer holds. Each day, researchers continue pushing the frontiers of the quantum world, unveiling new horizons. All matter, including our bodies, was first formed when stars emerged nearly 4 billion years ago. The stardust gradually transformed, creating the first elements of life and eventually evolving into human beings. The ancestors of all life forms, including us, were stars. The history of the universe is also our biography, beginning 14 billion years ago and eventually leading to the emergence of human consciousness, which seeks to understand the cosmos as a way of exploring our origins. Observing galaxies is also a way of observing ourselves. We can see hundreds of billions of galaxies like the Milky Way, each containing hundreds of billions of stars like the Sun. If each of those stars has a few planets like Earth, it seems inconceivable to think Earth is the only planet with life. there must be other intelligent life forms beyond Earth, also observing the universe. We should marvel at humanity's ability to comprehend the cosmos, as it remains one of the greatest mysteries of all. Impermanence. A fundamental concept in Buddhist tradition is the impermanence of all things. All phenomena and objects are transient. For centuries, Western science was bound by the ancient Greek idea of the immutability of celestial phenomena. Aristotle stated that human affairs are fleeting and ever-changing, while the world of the gods, such as the stars in the heavens, is eternal and unchanging because the gods are absolutely perfect. On the night of July 4th, 1054, a new celestial body, as bright as Venus, appeared in the night sky. It was visible even during the day and remained so for several weeks. However, the skilled astronomers of medieval Europe did not record this new star in their astronomical annals, as they believed the heavens, the realm of the gods, to be immutable. The celestial object we now know as the Crab Nebula is the remnant of a supernova. During this time, Chinese observers documented the appearance of this guest star, and archaeological evidence indicates that the ancestral Puebloans in the Americas also recorded this astronomical phenomenon. Medieval European scientists placed more faith in Aristotle's static universe theory than in what they could see with their own eyes. It was only in 1543, with Copernicus, that scientists were persuaded of the universe's impermanence. Stars, like all things, are born, fade, and eventually die, though a star's lifespan spans billions of years, unlike our shorter human lives. Buddhism, with its view of impermanence, teaches that while we sit still in a meditation hall, we are actually moving with Earth around the Sun at a speed of 30 kilometers per second. Meanwhile, the Sun orbits the center of the Milky Way at 220 kilometers per second, and our galaxy itself rotates at a speed of 90 kilometers per second. Everything around us moves, and everything changes. This is the Buddhist perspective on impermanence. A religion for the future. Professor Trinh Xuan Tuan observes that science is merely one window through which we view the world. To truly understand reality, we must look through many different windows. Buddhism differentiates between two kinds of truths: conventional truth, relative truths, and ultimate truth, absolute reality. Science continually seeks absolute truth but has yet to attain it. Each answered question only brings forth thousands more. With spiritual experience and enlightenment, we hope to perceive truth, but without it, reality remains a mysterious melody. Spiritual experience complements science by offering an alternative path. Although based on different reasoning systems, Buddhism and cosmology converge on many points. Buddhist principles, such as the interdependence of all things and the law of cause and effect, echo in the findings of modern science. Everything is interconnected, and all phenomena arise from causes and conditions shared across the cosmos. On emptiness and impermanence, the Buddhist concepts of emptiness and impermanence align closely with conclusions drawn by researchers in cosmology. The interdependence of all things in the universe encourages us to recognize that each individual's happiness is linked to others and the world around us. This realization inspires compassion and a sense of responsibility to protect both living beings and non-living elements in our environment. No one can be truly happy if those around them are unhappy. This is a lesson taught by many religions. Albert Einstein once said that the religion of the future would be a cosmic religion, grounded in experience and free from dogma. If any religion aligns with the needs of modern science, it is Buddhism. Some Buddhists, like Mathieu Ricard, have demonstrated through experiments using functional MRI that regular and focused meditation can change brain structures, increasing activity in areas associated with positive behavior. Thus, consciousness has the capacity for self-learning and self-modification, with the brain as its foundation. Equanimity and letting go are key answers to the anxiety and stress that characterize our society, helping mitigate the harmful impact of conflicting emotions on our psychological balance. Light, as an electromagnetic wave, has a fixed speed, though incredibly fast. This leads to a crucial implication: the concept of illusion, as emphasized by Buddhist philosophy. When we look at an object or person, we are always seeing it in the past because light takes time to travel from one place to another and for our eyes to capture photons. This gives us the illusion of seeing stars in real time, while in reality, they may have already disappeared. This illusion is reinforced by the fact that our brain interprets these signals, reconstructing an image of what it perceives. Magicians understand this phenomenon well and use it to make us believe in the reality they create. Illusions dominate our world, and few things are as unreliable as eyewitness accounts in a police investigation, for instance. Only by continuously training our mind through meditation, increasing focus, and observing closely can we begin to free ourselves from these illusions and glimpse the true nature of things. The origin of existence also gives us an opportunity to compare Buddhist and scientific thought. Indeed, physical laws and approximately 20 physical constants that permit life in the universe are remarkably precise and finely tuned in relation to each other. Such precision defies explanation. For instance, if the mass of a proton or the electric charge of an electron were even slightly different, life on Earth would not be possible. Buddhist teachings naturally explain this phenomenon through the concept of interdependent origination and through self-regulating streams of consciousness within a universe without a beginning or an end. The Big Bang theory, which implies a beginning, seems to conflict with this view. However, the theory encounters a singularity at its origin, where familiar physical laws break down. After this brief exploration of the connections between quantum physics and Buddhism, we can say that science and spirituality complement rather than contradict each other. Both aspects are entirely essential for humanity and future development. Buddhist philosophy, through its practicality and simplicity, provides a natural spiritual framework for the advancement of modern science. Every day, science reveals that the power of thought and the experiential teachings of people who lived 2,500 years ago remain incredibly relevant. Perhaps these insights will allow humanity to free itself from its own bindings and illusions, ultimately leading to serenity, happiness, and peace.